You know what the thriller genre is doing nowadays? It's killing like really, really fun, interesting sounding jobs. You've got ship captain, Captain Phillips. You've got astronaut, Gravity, and now pianists aren't safe. So Grand Piano is directed by Eugenio Mira, I think, is how you pronounce that, and written by Damien Chazelle, and stars Elijah Wood and John Cusack. The plot for Grand Piano is extremely simple. Elijah Wood plays Tom Selznick, who is this famed concert pianist who had a bit of a rough time one day. He screwed up on this really, really impossible song, and he's been beating himself over the head for the past 5 years. But now he's back for the first time in 5 years, and he begins to play this concert when he notices a note written as an written note written on his sheet music that says "Play one wrong note and you die." And he discovers that he is being targeted by a sniper, John Cusack, and eventually he gets like an earpiece, Elijah Wood's character, and they begin to kind of converse to each other, and Elijah Wood has to kind of figure out how to get out of this situation. Now, lots of people refer to grand piano as like phone booth in a concert hall, but it really is more than that. It is, in a strange little way, kind of like a tribute to these 60s style thriller movies, and in a very good way. The word Hitchcockian gets thrown around a lot, and you can really see that here. I really did actually end up having lots of fun with grand piano. Now, for a movie that is extremely small, the visual style here is incredible. There is only one location pretty much for this entire movie, and this concert hall they're playing in looks incredible. Just, I don't know, it never feels like you feel like it's getting old. You feel like the venue is really something to be explored. Just the way the camera kind of shows you different angles and sides and colors and stuff just in this concert hall is just really magnificent. And I mentioned camera, and that is probably the single best thing in this movie, in my opinion. The cinematography here is great because the camera will not stop moving, and I love it. It really reflects the sense of paranoia that Tom Selznick is feeling, and really you get really strange sweeping angles here, and it's a joy because you are listening to music and John Cusack talking to Elijah Wood for most of this movie, but I think the movie really knows that and knows how to kind of keep your attention there by doing lots of weird things with the camera. And you've got like some really good Hitchcockian 60s angles there, like the whole dolly zoom thing where you zoom in on the face but the background just kind of moves back. I don't know how to describe that. And like I said, inverted angles and whatnot. It really is just like a cinematographer's dream project, I think, because you can really go crazy with this. But then there's this one shot that is absolutely just still, and it came out of nowhere, and I loved every second of it. In terms of editing, this movie does chug along very, very well. It is not extremely tense, I don't think so. Like, I didn't really feel like edge of my seat, at any time throughout this movie. However, the fact that this whole story takes place, like, in the duration of a concert gives it a sense of, it's gotta end sometime. And there are some thrillers that try to be tense by dragging it on forever and you don't know when it's gonna end, and that doesn't always work. But here in Grand Piano, you know it has to end sometime, so it does keep you tense. And also, of course, for a movie entitled Grand Piano, the music here is great. And this is like the best place to use elaborate classical music because you're in the concert hall and you can't ever say that, oh, I thought the music was too grand or again elaborate or overbearing, because they're in the concert hall. The music is there and it's supposed to be like that, and it was used really well. I really love movies where the music really becomes like an integral part of the story, and here the music really just kicks in at all the best moments, and Elijah Wood is playing the piano and stuff. It's great. Speaking of Elijah Wood, again, this is a very small story, and given his very limited character, surprisingly, he really maximizes everything. He squeezes out so much from his character. He's so scared all the time, but at the same time, when he's playing the piano, he's so locked in, and he slowly gets bit by bit more mad at John Cusack's character, and it's really, really fun to watch. John Cusack, in my opinion, worked better as just a voice because if you watch the trailers, yes, you eventually see his face, but I don't think that's necessarily John Cusack's fault. His voice work in this movie was very menacing, and if it were just that alone, it would be great. And of course, we got to give credit to the director Eugenio Mira, who really again knows how to squeeze every drop out of this really tough location, this tight spot, and you can tell he really kind of studied this material and knew kind of what tricks to pull off in doing it. But also, you can kind of tell that he fumbled with the ending, and that is my biggest problem with this movie is the writing. Overall, the writing here it's not that good, at all. For one, the plot is absolutely ridiculous. That's kind of forgivable though, because it's supposed to be like this old school thing. But the ending just gets way too convoluted, and things happen. I don't really know why certain characters do certain things, and it just ends, and the audience is just like, huh, what happened? Also, Tom Selznick, as I mentioned, is a good character, but everyone else, every other character here, is pretty weak. Um, the character John Cusack plays, I thought was good until the ending parts when I just kind of didn't understand what he was doing anymore. However, overall, Grand Piano is still a very enjoyable ride if you're into the whole thriller thing, and if once you get used to like its rhythms and you get used to the fact that it's a very unique film, you will enjoy this a lot. There is a lack of blood or quote unquote edginess in this movie, and you do not realize that anymore after a while because that's not what it's going for. It really is going for this very tense kind of thing, and for the most part, it succeeds. I just wish it had a better script. So yes, that is my review for Grand Piano. Thank you guys for watching. Whatever you guys thought of Grand Piano, whether you've seen it or not, whether you agree with me or not, please leave me a comment. Let's have a conversation.